I want to kind of get into some of the news going on and give everybody a heads up that do not forget that the solar tax credit of 30% is scheduled to end on December 31st for individuals. That means that if you've got a system planned, make sure that you're using the, I've got a QR code here that I can send to you. And let me see if I can turn this on. There we go. So I got a QR code for you. This link, all of the content from today will all be connected to that link there, and any content or links that I have during the show I'll add to that. But I've gone ahead and added a whole bunch of pre-existing links to it, and one of them is a couple of links to some affiliates for Signature Solar and Santan Solar. If you're interested in used panels and stuff, they've got an awesome assortment of them. So but the fact, just a reminder that December 31st for individuals to get that that 30% tax credit. Now keep in mind, this isn't a reduction in your earnings. This is an actual tax credit, meaning if you paid in, let's say $10,000 worth of taxes and you get a tax credit of 15 grand, that means that, and I mean, if 30% of it is 15 grand, that means that you will get $15,000 off of your taxes, and it is carry-overable. So that means you'll get all of that 10 grand back this year and another 5 grand, which will carry over till next year. So make sure that if you're working on those systems that you get in there. Also, in some of the news later, there's a real important item. I'll highlight it when I get there. I don't want to jump the gun because I got some other subject matter that needs to take place first before it makes a total sense. But I'll get into that and tell you, but there's a very important reason to make haste when we're talking about getting these orders into these companies. Also, a little bit in the news is good news for all of my Texas people. If you are in Texas, it is a State Bill 1202, looks like it has passed, which is basically them saying that they are going to allow third-party companies to do the solar and battery plan reviews and inspections, meaning you are no longer dependent upon the state to do them and for them to take their sweet old time and delay things for years and years or months and months. And to be honest with you, I don't live in Texas anymore. I'm in Florida. So I don't know what some of those delays are, but I know how efficient the government is. And that would mean that they're probably waiting for them. So on that bill, that company has the, let's see if I can get this right. The companies that are doing the inspection have 15 days to do the inspection and to give the report to the government. And the government has 2 days to issue the permit for those. That is fantastic news for you guys. Congratulations. That will speed things up a tremendous amount, I'm imagining. There are quite a bit of sources on this one too. This wasn't just rumored. This is an actual State Bill 1202. And if you look in the resources on the home automation links here, you will find PC Magazine had a link to it, Environmental Texas had a link to it, and Good Faith Energy also had a link to it and some details about it. And all three of those links are at the bottom of those of that QR code. They are also in the description. If you are not watching on a TV and don't want to scan it with your phone or whatnot, you can get to those same links in the description down below. So also some good news for, or actually some bad news for Nevada. Nevada net metering and demand charges. So it looks like here they have approved a new daily demand charge based on peak 15-minute window. And what it basically comes down to is they're sick and tired of us solar people making a dent in their bills and getting nothing that they can bill. It looks like it's going to be rooftop solar customers will probably end up getting about a $20 increase in their bill. I know very little about this one. It was in the Reno Gazette Journal and in the Las Vegas Review Journal. So if you have access to one of those two, there are links down below or on the QR code for those also. But the feedback that I got on it looks like it'll probably be about a $20 increase for you. And I don't know if that means that it's a $20 increase regardless if you use it or not, or how it works. But in my impression of it is if it's peak demand and you are a solar customer, then that would mean you probably want to slowly charge as opposed to do, a supercharge at any time. Although that may be where you're getting away with some of the net zeroing at the low off hours and cramming it in the battery as fast as possible. So unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about some of these regulation changes like that except just keep going until someday when we're completely off grid and don't need them at all. A couple of other pieces of news. Tesla Powerwall milestone. They claim to have deployed over 1 million Powerwall batteries worldwide. Now, this one, when I heard the number, I had a little suspicion that I didn't believe it totally, and I went to ChatGPT actually and said, can you validate and verify this for me? The numbers are based on the manufacturing numbers and based on ship numbers. It does not mean that they went into production or went into use on all millions. So, but give or take, a few for defectives and that type of thing, the number is real. The plant has manufactured over 1 million devices. So that's pretty impressive. Unfortunately, there are no links or anything for this one. There was just some Tesla's Energy blog had listed this one and talked about it a little bit. And I don't have a link for it, unfortunately, sorry. Got some other cool news and a little shaping of the industry from Enphase product news. The Enphase product news is they pre-orders for IQ9 commercial microinverters. Now, this was announced at RE+, and I didn't hear a whole lot about it when it happened, but now I understand the significance of this is that they are pushing into the commercial area, which is really good. I'd taken a trip to Connecticut back a few weeks ago. Most of you were familiar with all the RV reports I did. But the one thing I noticed was going on, and I've started to see more and more of, is that business is getting into it. So they are bringing their microinverter from a large company that had been, in the smaller industries was ruled more by the smaller companies, and they're bringing it into that. So that merging of that technology is an interesting development. So, and then this is the piece of news that's really important that relates back to the first piece on the federal tax credit and the 30%. So there are a lot of reports out there, Wood and SEIA reports and all of that are all starting to report that the forecast has been trimmed due to the federal trade tariff policies, and expected volatility in pricing will lead to slower ship times and possibly shortages because the production may be ramped down in some of these cases. So it's very important that if you are planning to do something by the end of the year, where this could impact you is that you go to order what you want and then they don't, a week later they find out they don't have it if the product availability isn't immediately known or they run into some problems. So if you're looking at doing something, I still encourage you to take that step and make that happen as soon as possible so that you have time for any changes that you might need to make in that plan, or things that you might want to have to alter due to the fact that that particular battery bank isn't available, or that rack isn't available and you got to switch rack, which means you got to switch banks, or the inverter's not available, whatever the case may be. It comes down to just be aware that there's some volatility there and they're anticipating some supply chain problems and some information differences and stuff there. So it could cause your plan, at least if you're thinking about a last minute plan to order a system and get it installed and have it up and running by the end of the year and take that 30% tax credit. If there's a simple 2-week shipping slowdown for something that you've ordered, how will that impact you? So please be aware of it. And that's really all the news I had for this week. It was after RE last week. There was a ton of news last